Hello there. We are on the final signature for our album, and it's going to be a big build. By the time I got done with this, I had maybe 5 sheets, 2, 3, 4, 6 sheets left out of all the paper packs that I played with. So this being a big build, and so I don't confuse myself and confuse you, I'm just going to start right in with the middle of this rather than give you an entire preview. We'll get to everything as we go because I'm doing some pretty big builds here on the sides. So trying to play with some of the elements that are left in this collection. We have these 6x6 cards. There are 4 of them. So I have actually put them on black cardstock, taped. We're going to add them here on the edges. So you'll need 2, but I'll get to the measurements here in a second. And then I did a big pocket across the bottom, and I went into my scraps and picked out a scrap that just kept kind of singing to me, if you will, throughout all the builds. I just love this. The numbers, I used some Wink of Stella on the 5, and I'm using one of the ephemera pieces, the number 3, to come in over here because the 9 got cut off. So I thought I would just put the 3 right in front of it, and that would make that piece of this build complete. Now, the base on this is what I selected, and it is measuring in at 8 3/4 of an inch across by 8 1/4 in the height. So I've inked everything. I think I've inked everything going throughout this. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing and taping these pieces in, and I'm going to tape to the top. So those being 6x6, this is a 6 2 3/16 of an inch. With a 1/2 inch score by 5 3/4 inch. You'll want 2 of those. So I am going to go ahead, I think this was my back piece, and get these glued in, and then I'll tape it down to my base piece. Kind of get everything out of my way here for just a second. And then I'll put the inside piece. And it doesn't matter really which panel you have facing or which one's in the back. They're going to be used for photo mounts anyway. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tape this from the top. I have to paper clip everything because I've got it kind of organized and set up, and I don't want to misplace a piece, so I would ask for your patience as I go through this. It took me an entire day to sort through this, and I kind of get lost with what my thought process was. So I think I've got it in control. You'll understand when I start. moving pieces around here. Oh, I think I forgot to put tape on that. It's a good thing you guys have the ability to stop the video and then catch back up. So that's done. Now I'm going to place my pocket. I'm going to remove everything out of the way. Here's my paper clip. I'm sorry, I kind of lollygagged there for a second. My dog is in here with me and she's making some interesting noises, so I had to turn around and check on her. Okay, so I'm going to sneak down, tuck that in. Come down here in this corner, set this. I'll set that, whoops. And then my numerology piece. Now, when you're covering your pockets, you can use whatever pieces you want. You can change your ephemera around, do whatever it is that you want to do so that it looks right to you. And I just forgot to give you a measurement. Hold on here. This pocket, I'm so bad, is at 2.5 inches by the 8 3/4 in width there. Now the ephemera piece is got a sticky back, and I need to get in here and try and peel this apart. There we go. I put that on upside down. Oh no. Oh. Well, doggone it. All right, I've got to see if I can get this off of here without totally ruining, unless I've got another one in my stash. Let me go look. I have lots of scrap over here, or I will be using something else, because that's not going to come off there cleanly. Well, isn't that just a pickle? It's got numbers on the back side. well, let's take a look. Oh my gosh. You guys get to witness the first catastrophe. This is one reason why I don't ever throw my scraps away until I am completely done with them. And a lot of these will go into photo mats or card making. Huh. I may have to do a tad bit of what I refer to as surgery if I can't find a piece. A second piece. Oh, look at how I lucked out. Goodness, almost second to the last on this whole pile. Goodness sakes. Okay, I'm not going to rip this off because it's just going to make an ugly mess. So what I'm going to do is glue this back down. I'm going to strip this tape off. I have just absolutely made a mess of things. But I am not perfect. I do make mistakes. So I'm going to line this up. Make my tick marks. And then make sure this is on here nice and even. Re-ink it. Saved by the bell. I don't know about you, but once I kind of get a design in my head, I want to stick with it. It's taken me the good portion of a day to figure out what to do, so I want to stay with the same image that I've already got in my head. Okay, up, right side up. Right side up. And down we go. Now I'm going to come in here with just a tad bit of Wink of Stella. I am going to highlight the 5. And now I will put the 3 back down where I originally planned on putting it. And now we'll put some tape back down. Goodness sakes. Catastrophe averted, sort of. Just a a little thicker than I had planned. No big deal. It'll just make for a sturdier pocket. All right, let's try mounting this again. All right, so there we go. That's our internal piece. Now, I'm going to go slow. I'm going to work 1/2 at a time so that I can remember the pattern I created, and then we'll flip over to the other side. First things being first, in order for this to all come together, I need to put the main page down, which means I need to take this gently apart. I've got magnets that are fighting each other. Okay, this piece here, I'm going to start putting it together before I get too carried away here. This piece here measures at 8 3/8 across with a 1/2 inch score line and a 3/4 inch score line. This piece here measures at 7 inches across with a 1/2 inch score. This piece, and I'm not so sure that this is where that magnet's going to go, I'm just going to leave it for now. But this piece is going to line up right here along this edge. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my tape. I've got magnets that are helping me keep it in place. Not that that's really what I want to do. But your 1/2 inch score cut and measure is going to come in on the inside of your edge. If you're using a die or a punch to accent, you'll want to do it on this piece. Now this is then going to come in here. We're going to come right up to this 1/2 inch score line because I need this gusset to come up and forward. Let's try this again. Okay. Now real quick, like, I need to put my pages back together, lest I forget where I had them all. And now this piece. Now this piece is going to measure 7 5/8 across. You're going to do a 1/2 inch score and then a 5/8 inch score. Tape this edge and it's going to get mounted just to the inside of this the 3/4 inch score line that we did just a few minutes ago. It'll be really important for you to make sure that this gusset is flat when you do this because I want the actual gusset leaning in for this mount. And you're going to come right up to that 3/4 inch score line, and you're going to put it down. Then you're going to come in here and score, and then I'm going to push back a bit because I do want this score line to do what it's supposed to do. So what you end up with when we're all done is you're going to have a 3-page build that's going to fold in on itself as we work forward. So now on this piece here, because it's next to the centerpiece, I used this graphic piece of paper, and it's going to sit right here. But I have pre-placed 2 magnets because that's what's going to help keep things together. And as I'm thinking about this, I really do need to put the other side on because I've got to get the magnets to come together. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to keep that right there. And let's put on our left side. Same process. That's left side. Those will all stay together. Those will stay together. I hope I remember what I've done. I've got papers all over the place now. All right, this side, this panel here, I can't see that well, so let me get this up here in the light, is sitting at 8 3/8 with a 1/2 inch score and a 3/4 inch score. This piece is going to measure at 7 inches with a 1/2 inch score. This is the one that's going to line right up here to this outer edge. So I'm going to put it down, square it up, and then this one, same process. It's going to measure at 7 1/2 inches with a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 of an inch score. Same thing, you're going to make sure that this gusset is forward when you line it up to the inside of this gusset mark on the main page. So I'm going to pull it forward. And I'm going to match it up here. Pull it back a little bit so I can re-score that line. There we go. And that's so that this 1/4 inch gusset will lay over this one. Then this folds in. There's this set. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to mount it to the page because we need to set our magnets. Okay, so I had to think this through a little bit. This is going to keep this connected to here. It was going to take a series of magnets to make this work for me. You can connect them however you wish, but I put 2 magnets here. There's a lot of weight that's coming in on this. making sure that my edges are even. Put that down. And then I put a magnet here on this inside, and its pair is going to come here to help hold this down. But remember earlier when I said I wasn't sure that that's where I wanted it? This page is shorter, so I want my magnet here. Oh, come on. And I want this out here. This is a sticky mess. I'm just going to take it off. Now let me see if this is going to work. Okay, this is a bit loose. Not sure that I like it. So I think what I might do, so here we go through the stumbling process again. Well, it sure liked that magnet placement. And that one there. And that one there. Then I'm going to come in here. And let's tape this one in. This is what I get for doing big builds. There we go. Okay. Now I'm hoping I remember all the papers where I wanted them to be. And I'm going to start over here on my left side because this is my middle panel. So I know that's where that goes. Now what I'm using, there were a few of these cards left, and I've gone ahead and mounted them up black cardstock, and I'm using them as nice tucks plus a photo opportunity. And you can put another photo here and you can do some journaling across the top. Now, this build is going to take some fairly large cuts of the pattern paper. There is plenty. I chose, because I wanted to keep a pattern going, I chose to, oh goodness sakes, I did not measure. What a terrible, terrible build this is for me. Hold on here, 2 shakes. I need to do some quick trimming. I didn't allow for the gusset seam taking up space. But at least I'm making the mistake so that you don't have to. So I'm lining it right up next to this gusset. And then it drops right in front of this gusset. Anyway, what I was saying is I have chosen to kind of stay with a certain theme on a couple of papers. And they were short. So I went to my pile and found comparable matching papers to fill in a little bit of a gap. And here comes number one. So this is what's left over of a cut that we have already done. And I want to use this paper. It's nice paper, but what I've done is I've come in here and cut a match so that this kind of, in my eye, flowed across. There's nothing wrong with doing piecemeal, but however, if you don't want to do this, there were 6 sheets that were left. You can actually cut and put in pieces that you don't have to do this with, if that makes sense. So I am going to line this up here on the edge. Where did my, there it is. And then this piece here. I only inked 3 sides of it so that the black ink would not be standing out on this piece. Okay. And then here, this is a cut from a 12 by 12. Save the other half because I'm using it over here, if that makes sense to you at all. And then the circle embellishments I've mounted on black cardstock, and I'm using them as a tuck, as a pocket. So this will get glued in. And I'm just going to run a little bit of tape across the bottom half of this. And there's our tuck. Now I'm going to come to the front. Okay, I have my papers all mixed up, so before I go any farther, what did I do? Oh, God, I scared myself. All right, so, you guys, I'm sure hope you would have some patience. For the inside, next to the base page, I wanted, because it said numerology here, I wanted to have 2 pieces of paper that kind of symbolized this pattern. And so this was the piece that I chose and cut for over here. And then this was the piece that I cut and chose over here. Again, they're off of full 12 by 12 sheets. So I am going, there's no magnets, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. There's going to be some pockets on both these pages. I hope my being flustered goes away here in a little bit. It's kind of an embarrassing. When you think you've got things well thought out and then you make a mistake. Okay, so having said that, I am making a pocket down here, and I've gone to my scraps and I've pulled this piece in so there's a little bit of contrast. And then I took some elixir and bottle images out of the ephemera. I did back them on black cardstock because they've got tape on them, and I didn't want the tape to interfere with this. So let's go ahead, and before I go any farther, these pockets aren't very deep. They're 2 inches deep by the width of the page. Okay. You're going to make 2 of them. The pages are pretty close to being the same. In width. So you'll make 2 2-inch pockets. All right. And we're going to glue this piece on. Give it a little bit of contrast. And then I'm going to glue in the elixir bottles here. Having no particular predisposed idea as to how they're going to lay, I'm just going to put them down. Okay, so that side is done. So now I'm going to come over here to this side. Having magnets here, I am going to tape this in. This is one of those situations where I'm a bit apprehensive that I might have to get in and move some of these magnets around. I honestly have to wait and see once I get all the weight of the additional pattern paper onto the cardstock to see if the magnet placements are going to be sufficient. And I'm not going to do the center because it'll be one less strip I have to deal with if I have to do that. Just come right there next to the edge, center it. I'm pretty good to go there. And then on this side, we have hold on. This pocket. And this is where I use the long ephemera piece that has all the magic potions, so that this is what it looks like for the build on the that opens up to the inside. I keep misplacing this. There we go. And trying to keep things matching. That's why I'm using this piece again, so that there's some color balance and some eye coordination. I'm going to line it up on this edge of the gusset because that's what's critical, and it should just match right up with this edge over here. Now I will take the backing off of this. And it will just simply sit roughly in the middle. Now this I didn't mount on black cardstock like I did the other ones because it was just tall enough to fit within all of the pocket. Okay, so that is this build on the interior complete. Now if we open this page, I used a numerology, and there should be one for here, and we'll get to that in 2 shakes. And it's going to have to be taped in because of the tape here. And again, this cut came from a complete 12 by 12, and I am cutting everything to fit. I would hope that you would kind of gather that. I'm not providing measurements for the designer paper. Everyone has a preference as to how they want their edges to look, so I'm just going to instruct you to simply cut to fit. And when I put them in, I'm looking for just a scant bit of black around the edges. I don't want to see big 1/4 inch gaps. Now I've misplaced my pick. I actually have a thorough, there it is, a big old mess here going right now. Tape off the magnets. And then that's where this pocket went. And again, it's not very deep. It's 2 inches by the width of this page, which is 7 inches. this piece on. I like the contrast. But again, your scrap pile, you go through and you find what pieces are going to work best for you. Because you might like a different look if you're using the same pages. And that's for over here. All right. So that piece is done. Now we're going to flip over to this side. And it's more to keep myself straight and work on the, now this was a leftover cut, this is a scrap, and in trying to keep with this theme, I'm going to be piecing these together like so. And when you look at the paper, it's really hard to discern if this is just the way it was supposed to be, because there's different angles, there's different design on the paper itself. So again, I don't mind using scraps, and I don't mind piecing things together. I have kind of come accustomed to it simply because as I get my builds going, I am at times trying to figure out a way to save on cutting into 12 by 12 or 8 by 8 papers and saving them to further the album build. So I will quite often revert to my scraps. And then this is the pocket, and I did not ink that. This is the pocket that's going to go on this side. Go ahead and get this glued down. I just screwed up, but I caught it. I caught it before it dried. I just have to clean up the other side. There's a right and wrong side to my die. And if I don't pay attention, I end up with an edge that is showing that's not supposed to be showing. Now I'll put the tape down on this side. Come on. There we go. I'm going to come to this corner, lay this down, it comes right to the edge. Okay. So now we already have this mapped out. We'll come back to this in a minute. I just saw something I did wrong. I got way ahead of myself. Oh well. Okay, so this piece, getting down to the end here, this is the piece that's going in here. There's no magnet, so I can just glue this in place. And here is where the second round embellishment was going to go. There are several of them, so you can pick whichever one makes more sense to you. That one goes there. This one's going to go here. And this is going to go here. All right. So this is a leftover cut from this piece. So I'm putting it here to this inside panel. And again, I am piecing it in with a thinner strip from my scrap, but because it's from the same cut, it's, if I can get it in here the right way, make sure I don't have to do some trimming. There we go. That you can see that the letters match. It continues on. And I have not inked the inside edges of both of these. So I will go ahead and get this piece glued down. I just turned this over and I'm wondering if the reverse side is better. No, I'm going to stick with what I've got because I've already got it inked. And I'm going to put this down first because I want to come right up next to this score line. And then I will glue down this side. And what's important for me here is to butt these two right up next to each other tightly. So here it has the same pattern flows. And I was going to use this one here across the bottom as another tuck. And then from a 12 by 12, I cut this piece for this internal section here, and I can see that again, it's just like I had to on the first one. I'm going to have to take a tad bit of a trim off of this and then re-ink. And then we can glue it in. Now, a couple of these pages, I'm not doing anything with them because I'd like for you to be able to use your imagination, put in a pocket, put in a tuck, or don't do anything at all, like this piece here. It would make great for just some journaling and some very large photos. Okay, let's try this again. It needs to stay off the gusset. There we go. Well, this is coming in lopsided. I wonder if I've got my scores off. I need to trim it some more. I have cut this. It doesn't feel like it's even to me. And it was not square. That's why I was struggling. So once again, I'm human. Stay away from that gusset. Of course, I do have this at an angle that I'm struggling to see it at because I'm trying to stay in frame for all of you. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to see. Okay, so that is done. Okay, this is a 12 by 12 cut. And I totally refrained from fussy cutting this out. So I know there are those of you who are probably clapping your hands because I do like doing build-ups. But I thought I would be kind, not make you do that. Now I've got a set of magnets, so I am going to tape this in place. And again, I'm not going to put anything down the center. It goes against my grain, but I am thinking that once I put this together that I may have to get in there and adjust some magnets. And if I do, I will do that off video. But hopefully I won't have to because that would mean trouble for you as well. So there, I'm being pretty candid. All right. But I really do think we'll be okay. I just get overly nervous, Miss Nervous Nellie. All right, let's take a, I gotta put a lid on this. This is some of the oiliest, stickiest ink. It gets everywhere. So let's take a look here before I go much farther. All right. Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. All right, so I think we're okay. Nice and solid. This is the last piece. This came off a 3x3. It's where the numerology came in at. I did cut out the crow and the number 3. And it's going to come and sit here. I've got it on some pop-ups, so it gives a little bit of height to the outside of this page. And then I built a little pocket that's also going to go down here using some scraps. There are some ephemera gems in the ephemera, and I was going to put them here. And then there are still these 3 tarot cards, if you will, in the ephemera pack that will fit into the pocket on the front. So I am going to carefully tape the perimeter, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to tape the perimeter, and then I'm going to run tape down the center of this. And I will glue around where the 3 was cut out because I do want that to stay attached. And if I have to adjust magnets, I will be deep enough, because the magnets are here, I will be deep enough into this that I can partially lift without interfering with the number 3. That makes sense. Okay. I'm going to take the tape off of these. And I want to take the tape off down the center. I am not putting glue on this side because, again, if I ever have to adjust a magnet, I'm out of this particular paper, so I would be destroying it. So at least gluing only around the 3, I would be able to get into the magnets if need be. I know I emphasize that a lot, but I have had to do that from time to time because I miscalculated the weight. Now I'll piecemeal this tape out of here because it went in pieces. Okay, I'm going to pop off film here for just a sec while I pull the backs off of the pop-ups. Might give you a chance to get caught up. If this hadn't been such an odd shape, I would have just mounted it on some leftover cardstock and then glued it in. All right, make sure this is all getting back where it's supposed to be. Push it down, and there we go. I took some Wink Estella and went around the edges here to give it a little bit of a pop. And now I'm going to glue this piece on. This little pocket is not very big. I'll give you the measurements here in a second. It's 2 inches by 3 3/4 inch. Take the tape off. I didn't want it very deep because I wanted the tarot cards to stand up, but I do want to blacken the edges a little bit so that they stand out. Okay, there is that. And then I was going to put, I can either put the gems or I can put, no, I'm going to stick with my original thought. That's placing some of the gems. And this is not some of the easiest stuff to peel off. I don't know that it really matters any particular order that these go on. I'm just putting them on. If it looks good, I'll stick it there. Come on. Where are we at here? It's hard to tell which way that one goes. It's not a shape that's looks like to me. It's got a indication of what direction is up. Heavier on the bottom, so I'm going to put the heavy end down there. Now, if you have a different idea in mind as to what to put here, or don't build the pocket at all, that's entirely up to you. All right, let's take a look. I think I have a couple of piece elements here that's missing. I know what I did, but that's okay. I meant to use this. Well, I can take it off. It's just taped. It's not glued on. because if I want things to be symmetric, I want to put this in here. And that's what I planned. Look at that, have it all taped and ready to go. But based on the edge that I put the tape on, they're going to have to go down this way. So here's your photo mat, small photo, some journaling. And these inside pages are left blank. Now we do have 2 of these left. This is the final build. So we can either put them here on these pages, corresponding pages, or we can put them here because I didn't do anything to gussy up these pockets. And I think that's what I'm going to do because we've already taken up that much space. That leaves the other 2 panels completely open. Again, you don't have to do this. Seriously. And I'm kind of pinching where I want my glue to stop or start, however I want to phrase it. Okay. Get this lid on this before I topple it over. It spills all over the place. Okay, so from the inside, we have these 2 6x6 photo panels. You've got photo here. You have a large pocket. Here we have a pocket on each side. And then when you open these up, we have corresponding pages with pockets. And then we have, let's close this so we can look at this the same way. There is that side and that side. And then when we open this, we have a full blank panel, your card, the card, and another full blank panel, meaning that I didn't do anything with it. Close it up. Let's go ahead and get our tape on the back. And I'm going to use a 5/8 inch tape because this is a big build. This is almost a mini album in a mini album. Where's my... And then I'm going to stay with the 5/8 inch tape and go down the center because of its weight and size. I want to make sure that I've got a fairly decent tape coverage. All right, so it's a pretty big build. I warned you when we first started this session that it was going to be a big build. So this is going to come and sit in here like so, and make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. I will start to remove the tape and get this thing committed to my book. And I'm bringing this right to the edge of the panel, centering it as best as possible. And then push down and commit. And then I want to get inside. and burnish that tape. Okay. Oh, that's not even on there straight. Oh, goodness sakes, Charlie. Let's get in here. I gotta lift at least one edge and see if I can pull this down. No, I'm gonna have to pull both out. I must have been cross-eyed. You guys are all going, what did we do this build with this crazy lady for? Goodness sakes. She is just a wackadoo. Okay, it's seated in there a lot better, more square. All right, I'm going to start taking, that tape is so not ready to adhere yet. Now, before I commit, I want to make sure that this is in here square. Okay. I think I'm going to try this again. Now let's see if we can get in here. Bring this up here so I can see where I'm grabbing at. All right, now this gusset here wants to collapse on me, so I'm going to make sure it's upright when I push down on the tape. This outside gusset did just fine. It happens. Oh, paper clips sticking to the magnets. Okay, I think we did it. It was a big build. It was a long build, but we did it. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to take any more of your time, but cut some 1/2-inch strips and clean up the gusset area here. You'll need 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And just go to your scraps and find something that's going to work for you, because I'm going to do that, but I'll do it off camera. Hey, I thank you for playing along. I really apologize that this last build was a bit of a conundrum, but it happens, and I'm just not going to get all stressed over it. It is what it is. Hey, thanks for playing along, and I'll see you on the next build.